Everybody, this is our Organization 360 project. My name is Nathan Rochelle.
I'm Michael Mathis.
I'm Emily Schaefer.
In this presentation, we're going to be discussing the selection hiring process, employee motivation, and organizational culture of Starbucks Coffee Company.
So first, I'll be talking about Starbucks' selection and hiring process. The Starbucks selection process has 5 steps as seen above: application, screening, interview, background check, and the decision or job offer. The first step in Starbucks' selection process is having their applicants complete an online application that can be found on their website. The Starbucks website provides plentiful information on the different positions within their company, such as brief job descriptions and an Apply Now button, which makes it easy for applicants to complete an application as seen above. Once the applicant clicks Apply, they are redirected to a page where they can select their location to search for currently hiring stores near them. From here, they can see job postings complete with a detailed description of the position, pay rate, basic necessary qualifications, required skill knowledge, and when the posting expires. Once they select their desired job posting, they can complete the application online and typically receive a decision or interview offer within 3 weeks. When Zach, a Starbucks GM, was asked, "What are you most looking for in an applicant at Starbucks?" he replied, "We are looking for someone who has a big customer engagement focus. Our biggest focus at Starbucks is on having positive customer connection. Our partners are expected to give an experience above those typically seen in a fast food company by actions like memorizing regulars' names and engaging in conversation with every customer." Once the hiring managers receive a selection of applications, Starbucks filters applicants that seem the most suitable for the job. When we asked Zach, the Starbucks GM, when screening an application, what typically sets apart the applicants you decide to move forward in the interview process with? To which he replied, "In the application process at Starbucks, we have limited visibility on what the candidates have to offer. For example, we can't see their availability until we call to schedule an interview. This ensures there's no discrimination within the application process. A candidate stands out if they have a nice, really honed in resume." Once those candidates are selected, they're required to participate in multiple online screening assessments, such as personality, aptitude, and basic skill exams. If Starbucks deems a candidate fit for the position, they will request an in-person interview. During the interview, Starbucks management inquires about the motivation for the position the candidate applied to and asks them about past employment, skill level, and compensation expectations. For higher up position interviews at Starbucks, the manager in charge of success will ask you to return to conduct a final interview at one of the company headquarters. This is the only part of the process where they can promise that you'll hear back from them. The interview questions will be both behavioral and experimental: situation, action, result, interesting fact. For example, why Starbucks? Tell me about a time. How do you handle change? If I interviewed you 6 months down the line, what would change? We asked Zach, the GM, what is one thing that turns you away from a candidate in an interview? He replied, someone who is aggressively independent or authoritative off the bat. Starbucks is team focused, so they have to be a team player and collaborate. Otherwise, they will not thrive in our fast paced environment by trying to do everything themselves. Okay. Oh, okay. Is that like a pause or does it stop? Do we know?
Yeah, I did not realize my mic was on mute. My bad. I just
No.
paused it. I just tried to talk to you on. Okay, my bad.
I was like,
Yeah, Mike, do you know how long yours is gonna be? You're gonna be talking.
As long as you want it.
Okay, because I stopped it whenever it was at like 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So I'm gonna just try to talk for like 7 minutes at least. If you can hit 5.
Oh yeah, I can definitely hit 5. I've got a lot.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool. All right, this is the one.
Yep. 3, 2, 1, resume. So next up, be talking about how they motivate their employees, and the quote really does a good way of capturing it. It's a special blend of employee benefits, and that's really what the employees go for. There's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of policies. It's just Starbucks does a very good job of motivating their employees. So starting out, they have programs and policies. The inclusion, diversity policy at a corporate level or they push it the most at a corporate level. And on their website, most pages contain the theme, and you can tell that it's something that they really strive for. They have diversity and inclusion goals as well, and they really appreciate the different backgrounds that come into the company and having different viewpoints, and they want to make sure that everybody's voice is being heard, which also goes into their decision making. But more programs, they have mental health and well-being programs. They really want to make sure that everyone's at their best game and everybody's staying happy and healthy. They have a Beanstalk program that rewards eligible employees with stock in the company, and one of their benefits is they also get a discount in some stock. The Cup Fund is a really, really cool one. It's a financial assistance program for eligible partners. They can apply for it, and it'll help them in their times of financial need, whether that's family emergency or after a hurricane or something. It's really cool. If you go, partners can add to the fund, but so can customers. Whenever you go to Starbucks and they ask you if you want to round up $1, most of the time it's going to be for the Cup Fund. So that'll be going towards a partner who does really need it, which is awesome. That's just one of the policies that they have that shows that they really do care about their employees more on just a mental well-being level, like the mental health and well-being programs. But they're very understanding with their time off. Employees can get a lot of time off, and if you have if you're ill or have a family emergency, or you just need your kids got sick at school or something, they're very, very understanding. And then they have the stereotypical open door policy, which is pretty much the same as any other company. Make sure that the partners know that they're safe whenever they have something that they feel like they need to report, some kind of grievance. Make sure that they know that they're heard, and also that the proper procedures are followed, which is really good. For goal setting, they have a mentorship program that allows for individual goal setting while working with more experienced partners. Typically, you're going to see that at a manager level. And the performance metrics and goals are more at a location level. They have sales goals every week across items. They have to meet certain labor metrics for their hours worked, and their out the window time is performance, and it's essentially how fast that they can get the order to the customer. There's been some changes with that recently, though, because they just started doing more mobile ordering, which kind of makes it a little bit more hectic, kind of makes it a little bit more challenging to get everything where it needs to go. But I mean, most likely it's just because it's new. The partner that I talked to, Courtney, she said that they haven't really had many problems with it, and it hasn't affected their performance. So seems like a good little change that they've made. Some of the benefits, which is the real bread and butter for the employees, is they have subscriptions. So they have a Spotify premium subscription, which all the partners get, and that's what Courtney, the partner that I talked to, really likes. She uses Spotify all day at the location she's at to make sure everybody's feeling good and upbeat with music. They also get a premium mindfulness subscription included. And it kind of goes into the mental health programs and their incentives for that. It's a relaxation and meditation app. They also get in-store discounts and affiliate discounts. So for in-store, they can get free drinks and then up to 7 free food items out of the little glass ready-to-sell enclosure that you see whenever you walk in. And then they get affiliate discounts from companies that are affiliated with Starbucks. And then they also get the typical benefits, which they have a really, really good 401k retirement program, and they have a really good company match with it, as well as pretty much full coverage that you can get dental, vision, health insurance, the whole 9 yards. So very, very well covered employees. Here you can, or Zach from one of the Starbucks locations that we had interviewed says that Starbucks motivates its employees through positive encouragement, celebrating wins through customer connection, meals for the crew, team outings, etc., to give extra rewards. And yeah, that's something that was mimicked through Courtney that I talked to. She was a supervising partner, not a GM, but I did ask her if she felt like she was she's part of a company rather than the small location. And she gave me plenty of examples, but she was very excited to talk about it. One of the things that they recently did with some of the other locations in the Lafayette area was a special needs prom. So they really love getting out into the community. They have a lot of encouragement, positive reinforcement, and they make sure that the locations that are near each other are interacting with each other and also interacting with their community. So it's a very, very big way to motivate their partners. So yeah, positive reinforcement is definitely the biggest motivation technique, and rewards as well. For decision making, they have recently implemented, I don't know if it's at all of the locations, but most of the locations now have these help kiosks, which Starbucks put in. It allows newer partners, especially, who have frequently asked questions to go to an iPad, and if they can't find an answer there, which most of the time they will, then they're encouraged to start collaborating and asking others. But all the decisions that they make at Starbucks, everybody collaborates, everybody has a say, everybody's voice is heard, and typically they'll work from the bottom up. A GM's not going to be involved in something that they don't need to be involved in. They're not going to waste their time, but they're still going to be made aware of it. So it's a very collaborative environment, and definitely encourages interactions whenever they're in meetings and making decisions. And lastly, they have a very, very good work-life balance. On Indeed, it was 3.7 out of 5, sorry. So it's a very good rating, and I think that's the reason that a lot of younger college students are going there right now, and really most barista coffee shop jobs, because they do have a very good work-life balance, and they do a lot with working around people's schedules. So it helps with those who are full-time in college, especially. The supervising partner that I talked to, Courtney, she is a mother, and she only is scheduled to work about 20 or 30 hours a week, but they only schedule her for about 25 to 27, she had said. So she gets a little bit of leeway on that. And she says that she's been there for 7 years. She's still got 3 years left in her before she wants to move back towards raising her kids, which is awesome. But even now, she still has a lot of time to spend with her kids. It's a very low stress environment. I don't know if the location that I was at was just a less busy one, but she said that they really, even whenever it does get busy, it's not a terrible thing to manage. It's not very overwhelming. I was able to talk to her for about a good 20 to 25 minutes, had a very good conversation with her, and there was 2 other partners there who were manning the entire section, and they still had a constant flow of customers coming through. So did a very good job, and yeah, definitely low stress environment, which is very motivating for a lot of people. Definitely don't want a stressful job, especially after a long day.
So next we're going to talk about organizational culture. And everybody knows that Starbucks is known for its fun and kind of laid back atmosphere and their service-oriented culture. But it wasn't always the case. In fact, Starbucks almost closed their doors from what they called a culture crash in the wake of the 2007-2008 financial crisis. Howie Schultz, the CEO, he was on a hiatus, and for 8 years he served as chairman and stepped down from CEO. But during that time, Starbucks grew. We saw 5,000 stores go to 15,000 stores, and yet the stock crashed 42%. So good old Howie was like, I've got to figure out what's going on. And he came back in to kind of steer the ship back into clear waters. So he identified a number of issues and poor decisions that were being made that led to company culture taking a backseat. And what he theorized is that due to the lack of investment in culture, teams were no longer being highly trained, or they weren't as deeply committed as they once were before. And so what he did was he shut down every single store across the country at the time, or possibly even the world. He shut down every single store for 3.5 hours to drill everybody, especially managers, on what the company's mission and values were. So it was 10,000 store managers that were then sent on a gathering to rediscover their sense of mission and purpose. Since then, Starbucks has become an organizational culture of belonging, inclusion, and diversity. Oftentimes, this is reflected through company human resource development programs and baristas' interactions with customers. The main features of Starbucks corporate culture are the following. There are 5 features of Starbucks culture. The first being servant leadership. This takes an employee's first approach. This characterizes the behavioral manifestation of the company's organizational culture among its leaders. So with this approach, leaders, managers, and supervisors emphasize support for subordinates, and this ensures that every employee can grow in the business organization. Starbucks highlights that the importance of caring for employees is a way to optimize employee morale and then customer satisfaction as a result. The second feature is a relationship-driven approach. So it's a culture that supports friendly relationships among employees, and that will extend to customers who are then treated warmly. Through this emphasis on relationships and its corporate culture, the biggest organization develops the global coffee culture that drives consumer demand for the company's specialty coffee products. The third is collaboration and communication. So collaborative efforts through effective communication, it makes the order fulfillment process more efficient, which then contributes to the quality of service, positive customer experience, and business cost effectiveness. Next is a culture of openness. So traditionally, employees had a fear of speaking up to their superiors, and I think this is something that's probably universal amongst any industry. So one of the things that Howard Schultz did when he returned was that he created some open forums that would allow employees to communicate and ask questions. And in fact, they were encouraged to do so in order for them to develop a culture program around what employees' concerns were. This would empower the employees and facilities innovation in product development and in service provision. The last is inclusion and diversity. So they have a robust anti-discrimination policy. This will help facilitate information sharing and positive rapport among the employees, but it also leads to innovation based on diverse ideas. If you support employee motivation, it minimizes turnover. So hearing these ideas was something that they really wanted to do in order to make the employees feel heard. This creates a more welcoming environment for customers of all backgrounds as well, when they can walk into a store and then they can see a diverse staff. All of that being said, it's like contemporary attempt to be a boundaryless organization, which empowers teams over separated departments. But I find it a little interesting because of the sheer size of the company. It mirrors more of a mechanistic bureaucracy and structure, but it is definitely a step in the right direction, and one that no company this size has actually ever taken before. So that is it on organizational culture.